up. Today, my only goal is to inspire you to take on your day, go to bed feeling amazing, wake up taking over your life right now. I've got Gary Vee with me, which is, you know, to me, up there with the top dogs of inspiration, motivating. Whether you want to start a business, whether you just want to feel better about yourself, Gary is the man, the man. I know you guys always say that I lift you up, but I brought in a little extra support today. So the only thing we're doing right now, for however long this video is our goal, our only challenge, is to lift them up. That's it.
I love it, man.
That is it. So strap in, sit back, take a deep breath, and let's just dive right into some just feel good, take on your day. That's where we're at. So just in case you don't know my audience, I strive to have family.
Yes.
Mom, dad,
yes.
Kids watching. So how do we lift a family together? How do we lift maybe a troubled family, kids going through a tough time? Where do we start?
I think, look, first of all, hello everybody. And
Here, take the cam, talk directly.
I'm sure you guys understand how flattering this is, because this guy's so special, so to even be part of this is ridiculous. Hello. Real quick, I was born in the Soviet Union. I lived in a studio, this is a fancy place right now. When we first came to America, I lived in a studio apartment smaller than the office I'm in right now with 8 family members. You know, immigrants from Belarus, the former Soviet Union. We had nothing. My mom is my hero. My dad taught me work ethic. Like, my brother and sister are my heart. Like, first and foremost, the thing that I think we all have to establish here on YouTube all together right now is truth. The biggest reason people struggle, in my opinion, is they don't say things because they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings in the short term, but they create long-term vulnerabilities.
Bigger problem.
Right now, there's 2 family members watching this on YouTube.
We'll talk to them.
Yeah, I will.
It's so
right now, there's.
I know it's tricky.
No, it's, listen, I love it. But I'm like, so
I know.
Right now, there's 2 of you watching, or there's one watching downstairs and there's one watching upstairs, right? Like, somebody's in the den right now on the computer and somebody else is on the phone. And there's one conversation that both of you need to have with each other. You both know it, and you're scared to go there because the short-term burn is so scary, yet you're creating a vulnerability in the long-term relationship. So if we're talking about lifting up, if we're talking about winning, if we're talking about being happy, you have to take poison out of the system. And sometimes poison, it's a powerful word, sometimes poison is just the things that are unsaid. So I implore you, if we, to me, if we're doing this video, to me it's like, can we get somebody to do something that they know they have to do? I would give you the courage to know over-communicating to the people you love is always the right thing in the end.
Man, this is deep, dude. Are you guys ready for this? Like, this is deep. This is almost turning into a challenge video at this point, which is great. It's super challenging.
No, when you think about, I'm gonna just sneak in. Guys, like, this is so real, right? Like you love each other,
right? And
sometimes love manifests in wrong short-term behavior.
There's no part of love that's easy to begin with. It's a challenge.
It's such a beautiful thing to say.
It's always a challenge. It's always
a challenge. And for me, when you love deep, when you start a new relationship of love, truth is always gonna win. And so for me, I just couldn't, I'm tripling down. I'm back in the same thing I just said a few minutes ago. Please tell somebody the truth. You will, because here's what happens. So many people regret later on, and truth comes in many forms. Let me go a different direction. One of the biggest truths on YouTube today. Hey, it's me, Gary, again. So many of you are doing things to make your parents happy in the short term, and you're being you're so thankful for your mom and dad working hard, providing for you. And so you're about to do something, go to a school, start a sport, date somebody, take a job, create a career for yourselves, mainly on the back of what you think your parents want. And you think that's the right thing to do, when deep down you know that you want to sing, or vlog, or start a company selling pillows, and you're scared to tell somebody you love who's done so much right for you. This isn't, I'm mad at you, Dad. This is, Dad, you've been so amazing to me that I'm gonna be a lawyer because you've been the best, even though you hate law.
Let me add something. I want to touch on that because I come from a family business. I worked in a factory for 12 years out of high school, and I wanted to make videos. There was no money in videos. There was no at all. But sometimes your parent, even though you're scared of mom and dad or whoever you think you don't want to tell, they're actually there to back you up every step of the way. And that's where I was.
Powerful.
I worked for my family. I was so afraid to tell my mom and dad that I couldn't work for them because they needed me. It was like a family business. I was expected to be there, but at the end of the day, my family were the ones that sat me down and said, stop coming here.
Wow.
Focus on YouTube. And that was like, boom,
I gotta get in here. That is rare. That is rare.
It is rare.
And so I'm jumping in because I make a lot of...
It can be the case.
It can be. But let me play a different thing. Because I know it's for the 4 to 12% of you, for the other 96, 88% of you. If that's not the case, that's okay too. Because he, thank God, was so lucky to have such a delicious situation. But some of you may have to have a little sourness for a month, for a year. But let me promise you one thing about parents. One thing I promise you. In the end, if you are happy, they will be so happy to be wrong. You may have some friction in the beginning, but if you're so confident that you're the best pillow salesperson, or your strawberry jam business is gonna be remarkable, or you're the greatest Instagrammer of all time, in the end, if you achieve, they will be the happiest to give a toast at your 40th birthday saying, my daughter, she was right. I wanted her to be a doctor, she was right. She's the Instagram raspberry queen.
I love that. Hey, your parents always want to see you succeed. Always. Even if they were wrong at one point, when they see you make it or try it, they're gonna support you.
And listen, I'm gonna go to a place, and I apologize, I'm gonna go to a place that maybe is more unpopular. And listen, there's a percentage of parents out there that don't. Mm-hmm. That, you know, unfortunately, through their parenting or circumstance, there's a misery loves company.
True.
There's a regret.
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens. And that's okay too. You want a real message? You want to really be happy? Being the bigger person in every situation, even that means with your parents, that is a very special gift that could be a framework of happiness always. I'm an outrageously happy person because I basically think everything's on me. And regardless of what people do in the comment section, in real life, in the game, I am always capable because of my inner happiness to rise above and be the bigger person, even then everybody watching, and there's a lot that watch your world, everybody watching would say, no, Gary, you're right. Why are you saying sorry? Because having the capacity to be the bigger person is the ultimate strength in life.
Boom. Stick that in your back pocket. I want to go another direction. A lot of my viewers, you guys are young. Some of you are very young, and you think that you're at a low point in life right now. It's something, you know, to us as adults, is very silly, but at that age, at your age, you could be what you think is just the lowest point in life right now. And maybe some of you are at the lowest point in life. I want to talk about, I laugh at some of my worst parts in my life where I thought, like, this is it, like I'm done. I now laugh about it.
It's mine.
And how's that possible, right? Like, and how that giant problem that I literally thought was the end of my world becomes a huge blessing. It becomes the reason that I'm sitting where I'm sitting. How is that possible? How do I explain to them that their low point is actually creating their you know?
I'm gonna jump in here. Like, you know, for me, it's very interesting. Like, on that note, guys, I actually don't have judgment that I think adults often do to a teenager because we've lived it. Mm-hmm. We've been in 6th grade, got picked on, and it feels like the end of the world. And when you're 20 or 30 or 40, you're like, oof, I wish I had those problems, right? But what I realize is that life is 100% about perspective. If you losing your copy of 2K at your friend's house is like the worst thing that's ever happened, well, that's what it is today. And so here's what I would say. I think there's 2 core things I think about when I think about people feeling like they're at their lowest. At a young age. Number 1, somehow you have to, and maybe it's this video or maybe it's something else, realize you haven't even started living. Perspective of age is imperative. You know, if you're 10, knowing that you're gonna live for another 100 years, for a lot of logical brains, they're like, oh my God, wait a minute, I have just started. And even if the next 10 years are not great, I still have my entire life.
Right.
Number 2, and this is the big one, I don't know how my mom did this. I don't know if it was because I was an immigrant, but somehow, getting to a place where your opinion about yourself matters more to you than the opinions of others about you, that gets really crazy. I don't know why I thought I was the best, even though my classmates told me I wasn't or anything else. How are you capable of hearing your own voice instead of somebody else's, valuing somebody's opinion about you over yourself? that will always be a bad thing, whether you're 12, 21, or 122. Starting the process of having conversations with yourself that you want to feel good about your actions. I feel incredible that I left popularity on the table in high school because I wasn't willing to pick on people. I can think of 45 different events in my high school years that if I was willing to cross the line of picking on somebody, that I know I love talking to, I love it. I love talking to him. That if I was willing to, you know, pick on somebody, I would have been more popular with the popular kids. Today, those same popular kids are messaging me on Facebook saying that they are inspired by the fact that I did that, and they know why I'm now successful because they were there in 1991 and watched how I behaved when it was hard to be a good dude. Nice guys finish first. Don't let anybody trick you otherwise.
First of all, I'm having a blast with you, man. Like, legit.
That makes me happy.
Like you guys are used to me talking to you guys. It's nice to sit back and
listen.
I'm taking the same advice. So this is incredible. I do want to touch on, I also always push you guys to start doing what you want to do. This is something we all struggle with this all the time. I have a list right now of things that I've personally been procrastinating forever. Like, why don't I do these things? I always tell you guys to start. Like, there's a famous, the quote is like, imagine if you started last year. Imagine where you'd be if you started last year, right?
That's a great quote.
I want to touch on that. How do we get you to do what you should have started last year? Take it away.
So I think it comes down to practicality. Where is it? Right there. The first book I wrote, which basically became This Beautiful Man's Life, which was, I predicted the internet was gonna be big and that YouTube was a place people could live on. And people, if you go read the original reviews on Amazon, people are like, this is baloney. So it's like really fun to watch. Let me give you a very simple answer to this. It comes down to practicality. Do you know how much empathy I have for so many of you that have college debt, that have a mortgage, that have bills to pay, that are working 9 to 7, 5 days a week? Like, and then people, like, it's easy for people to say, go live your life, live your dream, right? I have no interest in that. I have interest in practicality. And what is practical in today's internet world is that from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., if you want to go do and build, if you want to build a company around your passion of Star Trek or soccer, or your deep knowledge of every Netflix show, like whatever you love in life, the fact that you can start an Instagram account, a podcast, a YouTube channel, or buy bulk in China and sell it on Shopify and Amazon, whatever your hustle could be, if you realize it's practical to put in an hour or two, instead of possibly watching more Netflix or playing a couple more video games, a little more Fortnite, or maybe even watching videos on YouTube. For you, what I want for you is to realize that 1, 2, 3 hours a day that you can start in creating content and building that business around your passion. Maybe your passion is ALF, the hit 80s series. Maybe it is slime making and selling that on Instagram. The reality is there is always time if you need it and you want it. And I said need it or want it. Our grandparents did not have the internet. So when they had mortgages and they had college loans and they had responsibilities, they just worked and came home and never got to scratch that itch. We have the internet, and that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m. is what I scrutinize with my friends and family and my community that is complaining or dwelling or sad that it's not going the way they want. I do put pressure on, please look at what you're doing from 7 to midnight. Instead of one more show or one more book or one more video game, put that into you building your thing for you, because it actually is practical. And you can look up in a year or two and start the process of maybe leaving that job and starting your passion.
I love it. You know, I love what you just said, because it's
9:16.
It's 9 at night, and
you and I have made it by most people's standards.
Sure.
It's Friday night, 9:16 p.m. and here we are making and doing and hustling.
Has anybody ever? Have you ever? You have. When somebody looks at you and says, you're so lucky.
And look, I will say this. I will say, you're right. I'm lucky because my mother is all time. You're right, I'm lucky. I was born an immigrant and ate so much crow and lost so early in life that I didn't fear losing because it's how I started. But if you think I'm lucky because I've worked 15 hours a day in a family business for 15 years and left with nothing, because you know family businesses, until the parents or grandparents die, it's not yours. I left with nothing. I've worked my face off. Here I am, 917. That's exactly right. I do not feel lucky of my accomplishments. I feel lucky of my circumstances.
Interesting. When people come up and they say, dude, you're so lucky you made it. It's like 10 years of my life of sacrifice and everything just goes through me. Like, they have no idea what it takes to get lucky.
You're getting me so motivated. I had a high school friend emailed me a couple years ago on Facebook, and it's like, bro, and in such the best way. I'm so proud of you. You made it. You're so lucky. And I literally wrote a manifesto, and I rarely did this. And this was back when I needed to get one off my chest. I'm like, bro, you remember when you went to the Jersey Shore every weekend and you guys hung out with girls and drank beer and had the time of your life and you have memories for life? Yeah, I was stocking shelves in a liquor store for 15 hours a day. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to get excited and motivated by luck. I feel like you're lucky. You had all those memories. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've kind of started the last 3 subjects. What you got? What do you want to talk about?
Guys,
he hasn't talked enough on this. I want to make sure you get some time.
Guys, I want to talk about gratitude. I think one of the ways, a lot of people are like, Gary, how have you helped so many people get out of low point? I'm like, by having them focus on what's amazing. You know, I sit on the board of Charity Water. When I really figured out that there are tons, millions of people in Africa walking 7 miles for water, for this, literally, here it is, for water, you start putting things in perspective. I just genuinely believe that if you're even capable of watching this vlog, you're already in a very special place. The likelihood, the odds of being born is 400 trillion to 1. 400. You are more likely to win the lottery 7 times in your life than actually being born. I want gratitude to become a pillar of conversation in our society because you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful for what you have instead of worrying about what you don't have. For every car, for money, for fame, for jewelry, for everything you don't have, you have so much. And my great-grandma Anya taught me a long time ago, if you've got health, you've got wealth. And every day I'm so grateful that the 11 people I love the most were awake and born that day and alive and not sick and not terminally ill and didn't die. And then so every business problem, every skinned knee becomes so small because I'm just so grateful for the thing that actually matters. And here's the analogy. You know when you're driving and the police lights go on, and you think you're about to get pulled over, and then the cop drives past you and you get so relieved, and then for 5 minutes you've got both hands on the steering wheel, right? Yeah. Like you've got both hands on the steering wheel, and all of a sudden you're like driving the exact speed limit, and then like 15 minutes later, again, you're going 15 over and you're one-handed. That's how I think about this. You have to stay grateful. You can't take things for granted. We have so much abundance in the world, so much opportunity, and too many people are crying about what they don't have instead of being so deeply grateful for what they have.
So here's what I want to do. I want to end this video right now with a right now. Like, I want to send you guys away right now feeling your absolute best. You want to do it?
I got something so good.
You got it.
I got 2 things. I'm waiting.
Let's do it.
Okay, my right now is very simple. Right now, I'm gonna ask for 2 because both are awesome.
Okay.
Right now, I want you to call somebody. Call. Old school. I want you to call somebody and tell them that you love them, that you haven't done that for in the last year. Number 2, how this started. Right now, I want you to go to Twitter and at Gary VEE me, and I wanna do something nice for you. Tell me what I can do for you, and that I want you to do something for somebody else.
I'm just gonna guess that you guys are gonna wanna see more Roman and Gary. Like, yes. Did we just start something?
Listen, I will fly anywhere, be anywhere. Roman and Gary is
Roman and Gary.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to move some boxes over here.
I will.
But all seriousness, guys, I hope that you just feel a little bit, if you took anything from any of this, I just hope you feel better. That's the goal here today. I'm gonna say goodbye. It's not a vlog, but You are beautiful. You are one of a kind. Smile more.